Essentialism book review. When I first mentioned at the start of this year that I was going to start reading this book, I was quite surprised to get a range of messages asking me to review the book when I'd finished reading it. So that's what this video is going to be. It's going to be a book review of Essentialism. So what's it about? In essence, which is kind of funny because one of the paragraphs is about essence, the book is about noise and the amount of noise that is in the world today and how to reduce the impact of that noise on your life. It's about trying to reduce the noise in your life to be able to do more of the things that you want to do, and it talks about what should be important in your life. So I think it's important to talk about the paragraphs within the book, and I want to make it clear that I'm going to be talking about this book through the lens of a teacher and how the book really had an impact on me as a teacher and made me think about my teaching. What I want to do with this review is talk about the paragraphs that I really found interesting. But before I can do that, I need to talk about all of the paragraphs and then just pick out the specific ones that I found interesting. So each word that I say is a paragraph. We have choose, discern, trade-off, escape, look, play, sleep, select, clarify, dare, uncommit, edit, limit, buffer, subtract, progress, flow, focus, and be. B talks about actually being an essentialist, and an essentialist is essentially someone who is able to say no, to make trade-offs to have a better lifestyle. It's about trying to not be the yes man, and as I grow older, I find myself becoming that yes man. Although the book spends a lot of time talking about the things that you should be saying no to, one of the things I really enjoyed is the parts where he discusses the things that we should say yes to. Of those parts, one of the key things that really resonated with me is escape. Escape is something that I always talk about on my channel, teach travel triumph and those sorts of things. Travel is the opportunity to escape to an area where you can just think. When I read that, I was like, think. But as I started to read more about the importance of just having the time to think, I realized I don't do it enough as a teacher. Because I spend so much time with the paperwork, with the admin, with all the little bits and pieces, I don't get the chance to think. And as a result, I'm not as creative within the profession of teaching as I would like to be. Another key part that it talks about is the importance of reading, which is something that I'm trying to do more and more of as I shoot this video. Well, not literally, but you get the idea. If we're able to read more, then we're able to gain more knowledge, and that will enable us to think deeper about things that we want to do. One of the other highlights that I had within this book was the importance of uncommitting and how to uncommit, because sometimes that can be extremely difficult. Saying no is an art form, and that is something that is expressed within the book. Having the ability to say yes to something, but getting the individual who's asking you to do something to think about what you're actually doing at the moment and getting them to think about what your workload is currently like is something that really was key, especially in the world of teaching, where it's difficult to say no to things sometimes because the things you say no to have an impact on the children. So as a result, you find yourself chasing your tail, trying to do as much as you possibly can for the children, although a lot of the time, because you wear yourself out, you're unable to teach effectively. So that part about uncommitting was really, really key, and I did enjoy that part. So now we get to the criticisms. There is an important narrative about discussing the workload and difficult lives that successful people lead and how they are overcommitted and how they reduce those commitments. However, some of the sections are too long, and as a result the book is, I would say, 50 pages, if not more, too long. I would reduce the stories about other individuals and just stick to the importance of the information that is being given, because when you're reading the information, the key parts that you draw away from it are really, really good, but there is a lot of bump, I suppose I'd call it. The book speaks about people who have overcommitted lifestyles and reduce that by doing a drastic act. For example, Bill Gates has 2 weeks off every year where he just uncommits and goes on a reading break. When I think of that, when I'm a teacher or as a nurse or with any other public sector profession, it's extremely difficult to do that because you cannot just have those 2 weeks just to go and read. You get those public holidays, but you can't just suddenly uncommit. So it does talk about successful people, but I think referencing more public sector workforces and roles would be beneficial for the book. So that's my other criticism. It does touch on the world of teaching for like a page, where it speaks about his daughter and how he's helping his daughter with a range of strategies. But I think it could have touched on these professions more, but maybe that wouldn't have had the better impact within the book. So I'm hoping with these videos, in creating these videos, that it's going to encourage me to read more. I like talking about what I've learned from a book because it embeds the knowledge that I've learned. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, like, subscribe, whatever this platform is actually on, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.